Hi guys, James here from 5 Star Rating 22. Alright, here we go. Here comes the fourth part of the weekly challenge on the old tower. So we're going to be finishing up all like the build parts of it here in this one. Some of the parts you did not get to see, you'll see why later. But so what we're going to do here is mix up a little batch of filler for on the brickwork. So you need plaster of Paris, a clear cup, some. The best thing to have is some sponges and some water, or you can use a brush and some water, or a damp rag and some water. Also, I recommend having damp rag just for just cleaning purposes. And then also I had a scraper there, and that's just like a Pampered Chef. It's like a kitchen scraper. And you can get those at like grocery stores, a lot of places, stuff like that, and I use that quite a bit. So what I do is I mix up I mix water. Oh, and then I have black paint that I mix in as well. Just I don't know, I think I can see it a little better. It adds a little color to it. So I add black paint and then Elmer's glue too to give it some elasticity. So, and then once I get it to a consistency that I think is alright, I go ahead and I scrape it on and then take a sponge and wipe it off the surface. You know, I just kind of trying to keep it in the crevices or as much as, you know, this kind of personal preference, however much you want. And then you can use this stuff as well to, you know, fill up gaps or layer on stuff. So you can kind of see there once it's dry, it kind of dries clear or white. And there you go. So it works pretty good for brickwork. I like it. Making sure everything matches up. As far as the second building goes. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to trim off a little bit of the paper card and leave the foam center on this foam board here, just the top part, and then a little bit on the bottom part as well. And you'll see there, then I took and just like cut slits into it, kind of made it look like brick, just to give it a little bit of a nice transfer from the first to the second story to try to help out. It's a nice thing. Nice little added effect. And then I was just seeing here for as far as when laying the bricks on top over the door frame and on the window frame as well, seeing if it was matching up, and it didn't. So I had to go ahead here and do some trim work and just kind of trim it down so it was nice and flush with the foam card. So that way when I go to put the first layer on top, it'll be nice and even. And it's always good when you're handling sharp tools or knives to have a kid come and keep an eye on you. My son had to check, make sure that I wasn't messing up either. You know, he likes to make sure that I'm not making a catastrophe, so he keeps an eye on me. Good idea to have him around. And then I'm just going to go ahead and layer the top row. Remember, when you're doing this, if you're going to do it layers or the levels playable, don't glue your bricks over the top of the windowsill or the door frame. Because you want just glue it to the block next to it, just to the side. Otherwise, it'll, you know, obviously you won't be able to pull the floor off like that. And then make sure if you use hot glue, clean up that string stuff. I didn't take as much time as I should have, but I didn't have as much time as I should have. So that's why my string didn't get cleaned up as nice. And you can see there, then I added a second row of just kind of like every other, adding a brick except for over the windowsill, the door sill, and the other windowsill as well. I added two there for later on. I was going to add some details to that, and I wanted to. And then what I did here was I cut out about 3 inches high. I cut out some like spike. I drew out some like kind of spike things to add to the top of the tower, just to add some add a little nice effect to it. And I just used my hot wire cutter to cut these out, and I did them kind of like in a hook shape, as you'll see later on. You don't get to see me put them on, but it's pretty simple. And then I took, you know, and added some effects to make them look like they're blocked or put on in separate pieces instead of just one chunk. So I just added some brick lines and then added some texture and all that good stuff to it. And I had it come to more of a point on the top, and then had a nice about flat or a flat bottom on it to add onto the every other bricks that I had placed on. So. And then what I did here, I'm getting ready to do the plaster onto the top part, the second floor. So I taped off a little bit on the edge to try to keep the floor a little nicer looking. So I went ahead and mixed up some more putty, and then made a big old mess here, and and went ahead and filled in the gaps on the second story. And then what I did here is I'm cutting out cubes. Measurement wasn't really huge importance. I pretty much took one of those 3-inch stacked, or those 1-inch foam that I had done and glued up before. I pretty much cut it into sixth. So I cut it into 6 cubes, and then I pretty much kind of cut it into like a cone, like a 2 cones put together shape, and then added the slits, the eye slit kind of cuttings to it, like I did around the base of the base that the tower went on top of. So I did that too. I made up 6 of those, 6 full-sized one of those. Just kind of, I like to call them like cartoon rocks. I don't know why I call them cartoon rocks. I guess because they kind of look fake. They're not really real to me. So, but I like the look of it. It's kind of like cartoony or fakey or fantasy to me. Kind of like a meteorite, I guess, in a way. And then I went ahead and carved out the walkway. I decided to go straight with that. I wasn't gonna go curved, but I decided to just go straight on, make it simpler. And then I also added some of those cartoon rocks, we'll call them, to the base as well. Like some of them just kind of coming out of the ground, some of them half coming out of the ground, and then one on the back that's almost totally coming out of the ground. So I just kind of added those in sporadic spots as well. And then what I did here is I cut out a circle out of my 1-inch styrofoam. Then I cut it in half, kind of evened it out, and then I cut out a smaller circle inside of that with a hot wire cutter. As you can see here, just using my compass to try to keep a nice equal circle. And then I went ahead and blocked those up to make them look like blocks or bricks as well. So, cut some grooves into them, added some texture. And then I took plastic card, I think this is off a cereal box here, and I just added, oh no, it was a fruit snack box. Same thing, same material. And I glued that to the bottom of it to give it a flat surface in the center. Not enough, I didn't want it to overhang, so you wouldn't actually see it, just in the center there, yep. So you can see there, just so in the center it has a nice flat surface. And then I cut out 2 rectangular blocks here, one a little bit bigger than the other, and I did the edge on that the same way I did the base that the tower goes on to, the main base. So I just did 2 of those and then gave that the eye slits as well. And then on the top of that I also gave that like the walkway effect that I did on the base coming out of the door as well. So I just cut slits, into that and stuff as well on there. So you can see there I put the circles that I had cut out, I put them on top, and one on top, one on the bottom. You can also see the hooks that I added to the top of the tower. Those are put on. So that's it for this part. Pretty much the next part we go on to painting. So stay tuned. Thanks again for watching. Keep gaming, guys. Hope you had a good one. And remember, the next part's going to be coming out soon, with the final part coming out soon after that.